Well, good morning, everybody. It's Mondays with Bev and Paul, and it's March 30th, the last Monday of the month, and it's the favorite time of any month, any day, any year, because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, my name's Paul.
Good morning. My name's Bev. How are you, Paul?
Well, we're having lots of technical difficulties, so I
Right.
hopefully you'll all be able to pick this up. I think we got it figured out.
Yeah,
It's what I get
moving
for going
on.
to a wedding this weekend.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All
Uh-huh.
the dancing and jumping around. I couldn't even. There wasn't even a song to dance to. It was all just this boom, 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 boom.
Well, it's those that couple is, they're young and
Yeah,
all their
right. It,
friends.
it was
That's the
funny.
music they like, right?
Right, and Jenny kept saying, "Are they playing the same song over and over again?" No,
Exactly.
no, it's a different song, just the same beat.
Yep. They were having
They
fun,
were
I could
having
tell.
fun, and I'm exhausted just by watching them. And we tried to do about
Right.
5 minutes worth, but it was like, holy
Right.
moly! And then your back's like, oh no, we need BioTouch. Yeah.
Oh, can't do that.
So that leads us right into this perfect thing: feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Good
interesting.
question.
So the whole morning, my speaker wouldn't work, and then the microphone's not working, and it was like, oh
Oh,
my god. So there,
here we are.
yeah.
Yet we are. Yes.
So we're going to talk about if you're feeling overwhelmed, how, stress in uncertain times, how the body holds it and how can we release it. So,
Yeah.
have you ever noticed, so we were talking to Chad, we were talking earlier, and, have you ever noticed, how you try to relax, that trying, you try to
Yes.
relax, but for some reason, well, like today, things just aren't, they're not moving smoothly. That's a good word.
Right.
There's
Yeah,
these
darn it.
glitches all the way, and your
Yeah,
body's just holding this stress that you're not even aware of.
that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Once you do become aware of it, which is, of course, what we would like to see happen. BioTouch, I think, can help with that. Is that coming into a body awareness, and when you become conscious of that, it's interesting because that's happened to me. I mentally start to, try to move my body to a point where it's more relaxed. It's an interesting activity for sure.
Right. And so, let's talk about, how stress isn't something you necessarily feel, but something your body holds on to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's locked in there. So, we're dealing with a lot of uncertain times right now, feeling overwhelmed. We have protest rallies, millions of people around the country and the world on both sides of the aisle. We have things, we're talking immigration all around the world. We have wars all
Right.
around the world, economies around the world. And you start to recognize what's happening now is
Yeah,
we're waking up to this global community.
we we are, and that's that in itself is a it, something to be hopeful about.
Right.
Because the other alternative is to remain, you know, asleep at the wheel, for heaven's sakes. But you know what? These are the times, and we've talked about doing its part during this transition time. We're in a transition time
Right.
for sure.
And I think for me, when I think about all the stressors in life and all the problems that are coming up, and when I'm talking to people, I always seem to have this. It's going to be okay. We
Yeah,
have to
I
go.
know.
We have to go through these dark times because I noticed that in my own life. When
Yes.
the shit came up, that's
Yep.
the fertilizer that was needed. And it requires us to think differently, to bring in other options that we might not have ever thought about when we were just lolling around and on a treadmill. So it's helping us wake up, and BioTouch is right there, ready to be
It's
part of
right.
the solution.
Yeah, the whole nature, what it breaks down so that it can new. It's destroying and rebuilding. That's the theme in life. everywhere. Breaking
Everywhere.
down, building new. I mean, and this is it, we are no exception. I was thinking too, as you were talking about all the stressors, and I know that we're going to look at that lovely chart later, but it's just not about dealing with the global human condition. Each of us individually have little stressors from our, holding in our body. All
Right.
the trauma, all the generational, the DNA. I mean, it goes on and on. It's amazing that we're all walking around the planet still. We just deal with so much individually and as a group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just show that right here. Here's the stress chart that Dr. Stevenson came up with that Bev was just talking about. And you see everything above the midline are all the stresses in our life. If you're just here on a podcast, Bev said some of them. We also have relationships, social isolation. We have the environment, chemical exposures, diets. We're high in fats and sugars and meats,
Yeah.
drugs, prescriptions, and non prescriptions. A lot of us
Right.
are dependent on lots of things. Even supplements can create stressors in our life if we don't know how to use them correctly.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
have gene expressions that are going on, psychological stress and distress, negative attitudes and belief, hopelessness, which is what we were just talking about, low self
Yeah.
esteem, lifestyle, lack of exercise, relaxation and sleep, childhood trauma, things that have happened we don't even remember, you know,
Right.
sexual
Right.
abuse, those kinds of things. Those are coming more and more into the forefront, you know. Um,
Well.
we have a whole movement on a global scale of these files that are showing up. And, people are able to talk about it more. Social economic status, this unemployment. So those are the stressors that are happening to us all the time.
All
And
the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, and as Kenna shows, let's go back to it, activation of accelerated aging pathways, chronic stress creates cortisol dysregulation and immune dysregulation. So that's what we
Boy.
were just talking about. The body holds it. You can try.
Yes.
I, yeah, I have friends that used to get headaches when they tried to meditate. So,
Okay.
or getting
Yep.
doing a breathing exercise and your chest starts to hurt. It's just
Hurt.
or chanting or dancing or whatever. We try all these things to reduce our stress, but the body's got a grip on it. It's got a grip on
You-
it.
that is why, it's just, I mean, not for the first time came to me, but I'm going to interject it here. This is why we say how incredible that BioTouch addresses the body.
Right.
The body, and as you discovered in your little investigation this morning, all that lives in the body, doesn't it? This
Right.
is where BioTouch is so amazing. It does nothing but just gently touches and loves that vehicle that is holding everything that you just talked about.
Yes. Yeah, that's a incredible awareness just again right now why we say that. If
Yeah.
that's where the stress is being held and we don't address your emotional levels, we don't address your spiritual practices, we don't
Nope.
address your moral or ethical views, we address the
That.
body. And that's the one thing that's the common denominator for all humanity. We all
Yes.
have that same body
Body.
that holds
Definitely.
stress the same way. So the fact that we can just take that index and middle finger of our hands and lightly touch another human being in that solar plexus, just below the breastbone, that soft tissue area, the most powerful place in our body,
Boy, a lot
even
of stuff is
anatomically.
held there too, Paul. A
Yeah.
lot of good stuff is held right there. Yep.
And it's interesting when you talk to people and they say, "Yeah, I get this tightness right in right below my breastbone. It gets tight
Yeah.
there, you know. Well, yeah, that's
Well, yeah.
the central nervous system. If you look at an anatomy chart, you know, they call it the semilunar ganglia are there and the solar
Yeah.
plexus. It's like boom, everything goes there. And we take our index and middle finger and lightly from another human being, we open up and allow them to touch us there lightly like a butterfly.
Boy.
And
Well, right there.
what are some
That's
of and
powerful.
usually what happens? There's this
The
you
body sighs.
yes, and you see people do
Somebody's body is going to sigh.
yes,
It's either the recipient or the associate.
yes.
That's happened to me.
Oh, me,
I
me
just take this big breath into my body when I touch another person right there. It's amazing, that connectedness between us.
yeah.
It's establishing that harmony, that relationship of healing right there, that first touch.
You know,
Yeah.
that reminds me years ago when I was first starting, and I'm just getting ready to close. It's dark and things, and this couple comes up from the reservation, Indian couple, and they have this little baby, infant baby, and they've been telling me that the baby's been seizures, hasn't slept for a long time, and somebody had told them about us, and they came to see if we could help. And so they put this little child on the bed, and I'm like freaking out. You know, I'm like, oh my God, what if I do
My
something wrong?
God.
I don't, you know, it's like all this stress starts coming to me about what to do. What if I do it wrong? And you know, what if it? And I start to touch this little child, and it almost went into a little seizure on its own. And
Wow.
all I could keep doing was the stress set on this little child because I needed to get relaxed in order to figure out what should I do next.
You. Yeah.
And so I did that, and I did a little headset on it, you know, and the child calmed down, did the little thing, they left, and I didn't hear from them for months, you know, and I'm
Oh
like,
gosh.
uh-oh, I'm
Oh
in
Lord.
trouble,
I
you know,
know.
I'm going to get,
They're
there's
coming for me.
bad thoughts about me, and, you know, on and on and on. And a couple of months later, one of the relatives who I guess had been coming to us said to me, you know, that was the first times in a baby's life that it had slept the entire night after the
Oh
session.
Lord. You're like, what?
Exactly.
I've been stressing all these months.
Yes. So sometimes, as you were saying, just for us to do the stress set with that so-called other person in order for us to get our bearings about what should I do? You know,
Yeah.
knowing I can't hurt anybody and I can only
Oh,
be beneficial, but you know, what set would I do next? And so you just see in both the practitioner and the recipient the aha moment that comes up.
yeah, absolutely. It's very special actually. Yeah, that we get to participate in that kind of a relationship all the time. It's
And again, I
amazing.
think that's the key is where we're talking about the overwhelmingness of what's happening on the planet. Like we think, you know, that you were talking about what's behind it. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Well, on a lot of levels, there's a lot of things
A
going on,
lot
a
of
lot of
levels.
levels that we don't know
Yeah,
about and don't understand and haven't learned about. So you sort of feel helpless too and
right,
hopeless, you know,
right,
because you have no
right,
control. You're
absolutely.
losing control. Well, BioTouch gives us that little bit of control to put us in relationship with another human being. And then what happens? Let's go back to the research. Kenna showed if you do BioTouch, that little dotted line that comes into that chronic stress cycle, two things she found happened. Now, I've been told, oh, this isn't real research. You guys are just a bunch of quacks. You know,
Hey,
maybe we are.
who knows?
Maybe it is all placebo, which we did a show about. We might do again. But
Years ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what she found with her, you know, research and her hormone testing and questionnaires, she found that you put BioTouch into that chronic stress cycle, you improve circadian pattern of cortisol release, which she shared improves the quality of life, and you increase what's called interleukin 12 levels, which improves your immune system function. It increases the activity of genes that fight infection and cancer and promote healthy aging.
Well, there you go.
If that's all we're doing.
That's all it does, right?
And if it doesn't do that, we've lost nothing, because at least we've come into relationship with another human being, and that's healing.
That's healing for sure. I think it's interesting, and this is not a new thing, but it just came to me. Even in the medical community, the traditional medical, they have been making a statement for years that about 80% of all of our diseases and conditions stem from stress.
Right.
So even they are saying that, 80% of all of our stuff is stress related. So can you imagine if we are doing the greeting and the stress set on another person? I mean, over, in a consistent, come on, that's huge.
And again, we're only talking a minute or two out of your day. A minute or two out of your day for you to touch someone and them to touch you. And that's where the power is. And if you create relationship just with one other person, you're starting to create a chain that will go on indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Absolutely right. Oh, absolutely. I've said many times, we're all going to heal together, folks.
Yes.
We're here to heal on all of those.
So join us in this movement of the present time. Let's use this opportunity of the stressors that's overwhelming us. Let's use it. Let's use it for an opportunity to wake up, to touch another human being, and to pass this on. Because once you've learned it, the beauty is you can immediately give it to somebody else and teach them. Yeah.
I don't know if that's quackery. Okay, I'm buying into it.
I'm buying into it. Let's pass it on. Again, we always call it the chain that will go on indefinitely. It's just your index and middle finger to lightly touch a couple of points on the body. And then, if nothing else, just see what happens. Let us know what happens for you. If nothing happens, let us know that. If you think we're quacks, let us know that. We don't have anything to sell because you carry these fingers with you everywhere you go.
We can't give this the ability for you to do it. We're just telling you you can. We're not giving you anything you don't already have.
Right. So join us, justtouch.com. Need to send us an email at office@justtouch.com. We're here to answer your questions. We have a little ebook of the whole set. We have classes that you can learn it. If you have a personal issue you want some help with, just let us know and we'd be happy to personally help you. We're here every Monday. Thanks, Bev. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Paul.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
And see you all next week.
Days in and days out, space and time is all about feeling pressure with the pain, in sunshine or in the rain. Living is a place in mind, giving is being kind. When the pain is too much, what we need is BioTouch. When I'm touching you, you are touching me.